You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Right, we're
leaving
live.
money
Don't
on
say
the
anything.
table.
Don't say anything incriminating.
Yeah, so I just hate everybody I had to stream with last week. Oh god!
Oh god, you're live! You fool!
Oh wait, one of those people was me.
Well, yeah.
Oh, rip.
Shit. Oh, well, okay.
I'm mashing my F keyboard as hard as possible. I'm so sorry.
F for all the fucks that you get.
You have an entire keyboard dedicated to F.
Yeah. Every
Just
single
one big button.
Yeah. Well, no, it's as many buttons as normal, but they're just all F.
And just one little L in the corner. Just
That'd be pretty funny, actually. Could you make a whole key the F key?
Yeah, it's good until I need to go to work and use Teams and stuff.
Yeah, but you touch type, don't you? What would it matter?
Or touch type 200 words per minute, all of them F.
Okay, here's
Yeah.
change it to F mode. You got two modes. You got like a Razer keyboard.
Yeah. All the keys flip upside down. And then,
Yeah.
And then all the RGB ramps up, and it's just Fs everywhere. Some big elaborate cockpit. Yeah, good job, both of you, with your drops. It's over
Thank
now,
you.
right? It is over now.
Tomorrow.
Oh, thank God.
Oh,
I
right.
still haven't got the final skin.
What's it called?
Hunt Showdown.
Mine didn't do. My stream didn't do too well, comparatively. But what's it called? I also think that my drops were just playing up for everyone for most of it, and yeah. So.
Also, I turned on your stream this morning, and you were playing Rainbow Six Siege.
Mm-hmm. Because I was doing a bunch of hunt later, so I was I just couldn't take solo hunt again. It was awful the last couple days.
Is that because you can't revive 10 times in a row now?
Yes, it's ruined me. It's like I'm used to being hyper aggressive because I can revive and I keep the characters, and now it's like, oh shit, if I play stupidly, I just die and lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten every single crate so far from all these drops, but I haven't opened the game. And I want to, because I think it works this way. I've heard mixed things. I think the first time you open it after getting any of these crates, it opens them all up and shows you the contents one at a time.
Yeah.
Which, what is this, 4 crates a day for 7
8
days?
things in each.
8 things each. I want a stupidly long, just box opening.
I've also heard it's mixed, where some people say yeah, it showed them everything. Some people are like, I didn't get a crate, and then you're like, have you checked your inventory? And they're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, oh shit, I got 50 bomb lances or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't logged into Hunt, but I've collected a ton of crates.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether to be well, logging in's going to be a good day.
I feel like if I get all these crates and all these items, and if I get the thing where they all open one at a time really slowly, I feel like if I recorded that, I could do something with it. I don't know what.
Oh, you mean the when you get the Rainbow Six Siege pack and you can tease it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was the best part of that game.
Oh,
it was.
We all know what Josh is gonna do. He's gonna be all right. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna open all these boxes. You press open, and they pop open, and it just goes to spinning bomb lance.
I was gonna say spinning
Oh
bomb
my
lance,
god!
yeah.
Do some reoccurring theme on my YouTube of just keep pretending that I've made an actual video, but it's always spinning bomb lance over and over and over again.
The joke I would do would be open up all the crates and be like, oh man, look at all this sick loot. Time to prestige.
yeah. Instantly lose it all.
That's such a good idea. That's such a good idea. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
I don't want any of this garbage.
Yeah.
It's 400
Thank you, Sam.
items.
That's such a gift. I didn't even think of that.
So Sam, you wanted... There's 2 memes of the week this week. It was...
Okay.
I couldn't say no to this one, because Blunt posted this, and it's just... It's so fucking stupid. If you don't know what it is, it's Pizza Tower. Which is...
There's a Yu-Gi-Oh streamer that I watch, and we're just there yeah, we're playing the pizza game, and I'm like, what the fuck, the pizza game?
I feel like you either don't know what this game is, or you completely love it. It's so
or
so
you've
weird.
seen too much.
Yeah. But yeah, I also had the prepared backup one, which is what you wanted, which is yeah.
Oh, I've just been my entire YouTube has just been Biden and Trump play Overwatch or play like whatever, and it's so good.
I can't remember if we spoke about this on the podcast. It's all just like blending together now. But we mentioned how, like, we would make fun of, not make fun of, but it'd be like, you know, your nan gets scammed by someone on the phone saying they're Microsoft, and be like, oh, don't fall for obvious scams, right? Come on, Gran. But then AI voice generation will be the scams of us. I feel I will get done by one of these at one point when they get, because they're just getting so
think
accurate.
how good they are now.
Exactly.
And now push forward time 30, 40 years. like,
yeah, I'll just be like, oh, you know, that's that person. No, Grandpa, it's obviously AI voice. Like, how the fuck can you tell? It just sounds like the person. But yeah. Have you seen like the overall videos of these? There's like a continuous story with this,
I haven't seen the story ones.
It's so weird. Where they're all like, there's one of them where they're all on the Joe Rogan podcast, just like chatting about how they all play Minecraft together. It's so fucking weird.
I think I was starting to watch those, and then it's got to the point where everyone is kind of jumping on the bandwagon.
Yes.
And I still love it because they're putting their own takes on it.
Yeah.
But the story is a lot harder to follow when now only like 20% of the videos are the actual storyline bit.
There's no way.
Like, it's so funny.
There's no way.
Funny.
There's no way I would have had like on my bingo sheet for 2023 AI voice story of US presidents playing video games. It's so fucking weird when you say it out loud. But yeah, there's tons of these now. Like, people are just ripping voices and making a whole bunch of videos. It's so bizarre. I mean, there's the whole like, there's the whole conversation of where do you draw the line, which is way too long to do for an opening of this. But it's just it's everywhere now. It's so weird. It's cool.
Yeah,
but it's a bit scary. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because there's I posted it in Will's Discord the other day, but I'm not sure if you saw this, Sam. It's the anime rock paper scissors video. Have you seen that?
No.
It's also pissing off a bunch of artists and stuff because it's more like AI art stuff. But it's
right, okay.
It's a YouTube crew. They're like a channel of like 12 people. Filmed themselves and on like a green screen, and then ran all their footage through like AI image generation using anime as reference, but also themselves, like pictures of themselves.
Right, okay.
And it just turns them into this like really weird but kind of cool looking anime style. And it's a really cool style. It's not perfect, but it like in the behind the scenes when they got their workflow like going, it takes them like hours to, you know, animate a scene, which would take people, you know, literally weeks.
Yeah.
And then it still looks kind of janky and stuff like that, but it's just like it's only going to get better, right?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting to this point with AI and in art and voices and stuff. And you know the old story of like, oh, robots are gonna replace all our jobs. Like, I feel like we're already borderline starting to get there with the art and the voice debate, because it's scarily scary how accurate some of them are.
I'm not sure if it'll ever replace entirely. People will have to, you know, not just art, I guess.
Yeah,
but every industry will have to change. But like, yeah.
I mean, the story of like, oh, robots will take our jobs has been around for ages, right?
That's literally what a self-checkout is when you go to a supermarket. And no one cares about that anymore.
But it'll be interesting to see how this develops, because no one wants talented people who make good content to be out of a job.
Yeah.
But everyone does want funny memes, haha, to be more accessible, you know?
Yeah, it's like we've gone from longer form YouTube videos to now, you know, minute-long videos are now really popular.
Yeah, shorts are getting me, man.
Yeah, that's
I'm on the shorts train and I can't get off.
It's what they're designed for. And then what's the next step after that? Is it just literally just I want a meme now. Generate funny video that's just for me right now.
No. We went from like hour-long video essays to then shorter 20-minute videos to 5-minute videos to now shorts. Next will just be still images.
We've just come full circle. Go back to cave paintings.
Yeah.
What's left after that? Is it just like
Porn?
No. It goes back to just like a 1-second sound bite, where it's just like
silent movies. Silent movies need to come back.
Oh, completely. We come full circle.
Yeah.
Go back to silent movies with no sound. It cuts
Who
to
was
like text.
Charlie Chaplin. We just need
Bring him
Charlie
back.
Chaplin
Where'd he go?
movies. Bring him back. Yeah. Yeah. Is he busy? What's he up to these days?
He's probably making TikToks, right?
Oh my god! There's like Charlie Chaplin exists today, and he's making TikToks right now.
There's probably someone doing that.
That's like, haha, isn't that funny? But you could use some sort of AI generation to make Charlie Chaplin TikToks, right? Like you could actually like, haha, but what if?
Yeah.
I'm finding some Charlie Chaplin shorts. I'll be posting them throughout the.
While Will finds that, we'll start the intro. Hello, everybody. Sorry, that's a bit of a tangent. Welcome back to the Game FourCast, weekly game podcast where we get together and chat about what we've been playing and all the latest news about games. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks. I'm here with Olivemeister Will.
Hello.
And Steve Quikwix.
Hello, my name is Steve, and I was the original casting choice for Bear in Cocaine Bear, but they ended up going in a hairier direction. And I snorted so much cocaine to practice for that role as well.
And Sammeh.
I've forgotten what it's like to follow Steve.
Yeah, it's hard. It can be hard.
It's been like a week, and every week I'm like, how do I forget? How? How does he get me every time?
That was a good one. I like that one. I still can't believe that Cocaine Bear is actually a real movie, but
yeah,
that's neither here.
Based on a real story.
Let's talk about
That bear just wanted cocaine.
There's probably much easier ways to get. I'm not going into that. Let's talk about some stuff. What have you been playing this week, Sam?
I have been absolutely caning Octopath Traveller 2.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about this.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't played Octopath Traveller 1.
Good. It's not very good.
Mainly, huh?
Good, because it's not very good.
It's great.
Really?
Shut up.
Because I want to go play it, man. Because if it's anything like 2, like this game is, it's like it. The one thing I heard about 1, right, was like, the 8 stories don't really like tie in together very well. It's kind of 8 individual stories.
That's my biggest problem with Octopath Traveller 1.
And there is a little bit of that in 2, in the sense that they're individual and the other characters don't need to exist to continue the stories.
Right.
Of the others.
Yeah.
But while you're doing the stories, you constantly have little chats and banter in between your party members about what's going on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is enough for me, where like everyone is interacting with what is happening in the story. To the point where it feels like they're involved, even though in the cutscenes they're not. You know what I mean?
They did have that in the first one. It was like you pressed left on the D-pad and it was here's blah blah's take on what's happening, but that was it.
But
this one apparently they have added like an overarching story if you get all the characters. I believe something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure, but they did listen to feedback on that.
So I've completely finished. I got the finished screen of 1 story.
Right.
Which was the guy that I started as, which is like, it was like the scholar that starts in jail, and I was like, all right, this guy's got some shit going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not normally the bookworm that starts in jail, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just an awesome old dude that doesn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
And was like, magic can all be proved through maths and stuff like that. But like, he's just, he's badass. And then there's a samurai, and I was speaking to my friend Matt, and he was like, how did you not start as the samurai? And I was like, that was an old dude in jail, man. They got me.
You gotta find out why he's in jail.
I don't know. Yeah. But, nice. The story's good, and I've because I've kind of caned one story more so
Yeah.
than doing it evenly. After doing 2 or 3, I then got a joint story. So it's because you progressed far enough in 2, now you've got a story that involves both of these people.
Right, okay, that's cool.
Which that was very cool.
I didn't get
because
far enough in the first one to know if that's also in the first game. Because I dropped the
Right,
first
okay.
game, not like at the start, but I got like halfway through.
Yeah, because again, it's very hard for me to know like what's in 1 and like what's in 2 that wasn't in 1.
Yeah.
But it's very similar to the Bravely Default system as well for combat.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't have the minus, like you can go under your action point and then skip your next few turns. And I kind of like that it doesn't have that, 'cause I didn't really like that
Yeah.
Bravely Default, but I did like the whole saving up a little bit so you can go ham on that one big turn where you like lower their defenses and break their armor and stuff. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The story is great. I'm 30 hours in, and
Yeah.
most of my time has been spent exploring.
Okay.
Because you get to an area and it's like, well, I love JRPGs. I'm gonna get all the chests in the area. I can't help it. I see a chest, I have to open it. I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna beeline town to town. And then it's like you can fast travel from town to town. So it like again, a very simple thing. It's in all games, but when you can only fast travel to towns and towns are very far away, it still means something to get to the town for the first time.
Right.
And also, whenever you go to an area, it says, oh, the average level you should be when you get here is like 34. So like, I wandered into a zone and it said be level 16 at the start of the game. And I was like, not this pathway just yet then, because
Yeah.
I'm level 6. And I was like, I kind of like that. Like, no one wants to wander into a zone and be like, oh, I just got clapped, I'm not supposed to go this way.
Yeah. It's like the stop sign is the equivalent of just a monster just punches you once and fucking kills you. And you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm going to leave now.
You
Isn't that what
can...
Dark Souls does?
By Dark Souls, do you say?
Yeah, isn't that what Dark Souls does?
Basically, yeah, you go in an area in Dark Souls and, and you can push through, but you get your shit slapped. And you're like, okay, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, in the Souls game, it's like, yeah, you have to outskill 100% of every fight, and then you can be here underleveled.
Yeah.
Whereas in a JRPG, it's like, you can still do that, because every enemy has weaknesses, and then once you break their weaknesses enough times, they miss their turn, and that turn and the future turn. So you get like 2 turns to lay down the hurt. And yeah, it's just a really cool system where there's like 6 different melee weapons and like 6 different elements. So you're balancing like, I want to have a very good weapon coverage. So if I come across any enemy, I know I can break them. But you also need a good element coverage because not all enemies are going to be weak to physical attacks.
So is it also, so how it was in the first game is you rock up to a new enemy that you've never seen this monster before, and underneath it are a whole bunch of question marks. And you when you first start a fight, you have no clue what it's weak to. And then as you use stuff...
start as the scholar.
Right,
because one of his things, and one of the reasons I did want to start as him, is he studies enemies. So he starts the combat and goes, I know one of your weaknesses.
Yes, yeah.
And he also has an ability that goes, I know one of your weaknesses. And if you spend more of your points on it, your turns, you can figure out 2, 3, 4 in one go.
Because that was, I think it's a cool system, but I do think it has its problems, where I kind of felt like, and if you don't do that, you spend the first few rounds of a fight kind of just, it's like random. You're just attacking and hoping that you hit the right thing. Which,
here's my take on it is, you have to play by those rules when you're in a boss fight. Because the boss fight will be like, I'm charging up my big attack.
Yeah.
And you can do the normal JRPG thing, which is like, oh shit, he's doing the big attack, everyone defend.
Yeah.
Or you can do the offensive play of break him so he misses his turn and it cancels out his big attack. So I like that it offers
Yeah.
Not that, oh, he's doing the big attack, let's defend with everyone, and everyone misses a turn, and so does he, because I've defended, and it's basically, we may as well have not have just done this. It gives you, like, the defensive and the offensive option. But
Yeah.
also it means that every time you fight a new enemy, it means something.
Yes,
Every enemy is like, okay, I need to figure out what this thing's weak to. And then the second time you face it, you're like, well, I know what you're weak against. Get clapped, nerd.
I feel like that works, but I felt like it was kind of weird when it came to bosses, where I would go against the boss, not know what it's weak to. And then if I get clapped by the boss, next time I go in, it feels like I'm almost cheating, because I now know everything it's weak to.
Yeah.
Which makes...
But then you're supposed to spend the whole first turn. You know, there's only 12 possible things you can attack with. Bosses normally have 5 weaknesses. Your first turn is going to be you hitting 4 of them. So chances are you'll find one out anyway.
Yeah.
At the very, very worst. So it's like, you know... I get it, but... It adds that little bit extra to boss fights rather than, okay, buff up, debuff, hit hard, heal, defend.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Buff up, hit, debuff, hit hard, etc. So,
and I was going to say, like, I'm a serial guidebook abuser, and because it's kind of like it's got this in-game mechanic of like see the weakness, like discover the weakness on your own. It feels rewarding to do so, and so it's like, oh, because like if not, I'd probably be like look up a guide like, oh, is this boss weak to anything? Like, oh, it's weak to poison or something, you know, which wouldn't be obvious. But this game like kind of encourages you to find it out yourself.
Yeah,
and then also the completionist part of me is like, well, I want to get every single pip of these unlocked, you know, like
which is also the best reason to play Scholar. Because the guy just goes, oh, I fought you before, but I didn't find out what your last weakness was. But because this is a new battle, I get to see another weakness of yours. And I just love that he starts and goes, give me that weakness, boy.
yeah, yoink. I kind of wish... I feel like I have no idea how you would balance this or like make it work, but I would kind of like some way that when you start a fight against an enemy and you have no idea what it's weak to, I wish there was some way of trying to figure it out somewhat. Does that make sense? Like I know some of them do that. Like sometimes if it's like a fire monster, it's like weak to water, obviously. But like
well, it's very much like that. It's like if the monster is a flyer, chances are it's weak to wind, it's weak to bow. If it's got a shield, or it's like a beast, chances are it's weak to a spear.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like daggers and swords, it's a bit more iffy because they're very generic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really thoroughly enjoying it, and I got to this point where I was like, I was doing stories, and a couple of people die in this game.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, oh, okay, this game doesn't really hold people sacred like other games. And then, so I just took that as like, well, you know, everyone cares about is just going to die. And then it's like, people started not dying. And I was like, hold on a minute here.
You've been taken for a ride.
Like, it's just like, right, we've baited him. He thinks we're just going to kill everyone that matters. Now let's not for the next 3 hours.
Now we get them all plot
and
armor
then
for
once he's
ages.
back in, we'll fucking kill someone really important. And I'm like, you can't do this to me.
I'm scared to ever play this game because I was so excited for Octopath Traveller 1 and just came away disappointed.
Well, there is a demo for this. You get 3 hours of game time, so you should probably just like play that.
Isn't it crazy? You get like 3 hours of game time per character or something.
No,
okay, that
3 hours.
I was gonna say that's good because again, I'm 30-40 hours in.
Yeah.
Yes, I finished one story. There are literally 4 characters level 6 because all I've done is pick up my first 4. That's been my party. There's been no rhyme or reason. Those were the 4 closest people. Well, the 3 closest people to the guy I started as. So that's my party, and I've just dealt with it. So I'm not even halfway because I've got a whole half of my party to level up.
Yeah.
Do their stories. And then I've got all the joint stories that'll unlock once I level those guys up. So I don't think 3 hours is enough time.
I assume there'll be
It's
some kind of overarching story as well. When you've done everything, it's like, okay, bring all 8 characters together, do something final.
Thing I wish I didn't know is
Yeah.
I have been told, I don't know what happens, but I've been told that they've listened to feedback and there is an overarching story that ties it all together.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Because that was the problem with the first one game, is I never got to it, but I
Everyone
heard that
just
wasn't there.
keeps saying it, and I'm like, I get the people that played the first game, this is important to them,
Yeah.
but knowing that everything ties in, kind of, for me, I was like, well, I guess because I didn't play number 1, I expected it.
Yes, yeah.
But it's ruined it a little bit. But I get that it's really important to people that played number 1.
Well,
Yeah.
in the first game, you would finish a character's story, and then they're almost just like benched outside of obviously combat and stuff, and a few little things they throw out there. It's just like, okay, they're just done now. Their arc is concluded. Whereas I think on the flip side, there was that game that came out, which was a remake of a Super Nintendo game. It was called Live Alive, or Live Alive, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah.
And that, I think people like a lot, because again, it's a similar thing of a whole bunch of separate characters and separate stories, but then shit eventually comes together, like all together.
Yeah. The first Octopath Traveller was originally like, it was sold like its initial like pitch was, it's like pick your own D&D adventure kind of, and it was like the whole thing was like, oh, there's 8 save files, and it was almost intended to be like you pick your save file, you do that character's story, and then you can recruit the other characters, but they're just literally like you go up to them and recruit them as like an NPC. That was like from the first demo, and then from that they got feedback and they did change it, and then they just made it so you could play the whole game in one go. So it kind of felt like they had like a good concept. Like it's such a, I really loved the first Octopath Traveller. It had such a good concept, but there was like problems, and they did listen to feedback as much as they could within like the time limits. But then Octopath Traveller 2, I think, is they took what was good from the first game and really listened to the feedback, because they really did. Like other games should see what Octopath Traveller did from their first beta to the second beta to like launch, and even to Octopath 1 to 2, and be like, yeah, they listened to what everyone was saying as was the problems, and they seem to have done a really good job with it. The first game, I would say, it felt like the characters were a little cookie cutter fantasy tropes, and this one seems like they've really mixed up. Like as Sam said, like the scholar character is not just like a professor in in a school this time.
Yeah,
he's an old man in prison.
He is like a quote unquote professor, but that was like his past. It's not what he is now. He's this grisly old guy that's been in prison and will burn you to a fucking crisp.
Yeah, because Octopath 1 was, from what I remember of the characters, was just like, it was like, here's a scholar who works at a school or whatever. Here is a knight. He protects a village. Here is a merchant. She sells stuff in this village. It was kind of like, okay. And I think
an exotic dancer. She.
I mean, I'm not going to say it hasn't got that, but I would say that every character, especially in their story, has a lot of depth.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't compare it to 1 for people. I'm really sorry. I wish I had played 1, because this game is fantastic. I can't recommend this enough. And the people looking at it going, this is my type of game, you need to get it. Because, again, you know if you're going to like a game like this, right?
Yeah.
It's not a secret.
Yeah.
If you like JRPGs and you like this art style...
2D HD!
Like, those people know what they like. But it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. This game is so good.
It's on Game Pass.
No, Octopath 1 was on Game Pass. It's just left, unfortunately.
They know what they're doing. It's sort of people that to go, oh, Octopath 2 just come out. That looks cool. I'll play the first. Oh, fuck, it's just gone. And then I bet it's like probably like 20 quid now or something.
What I will do after playing Octopath 2. Once I finish it, I will be going to play Octopath 1.
That'd be really interesting to hear, actually. I'd love to hear what your opinion on the differences.
Yeah, this game is so good, I'm willing to give the prequel a go just to see if it's close enough.
My main problem with the first game, now that you've Steve's spoken about it, it's kind of reminded me. It was like I went into it expecting one big grand like JRPG with 8 characters, but they all have their own sort of separate stories, but they come together and there's like one overall story. Whereas I think what I actually got from what I remember was just like 8 separate kinda average JRPG stories, and I was like, oh, okay.
It's kind of weird as well because you get invested in an individual character, and then you'd be like, oh, I can't wait to see how these two they're so different. How are they going to play off each other? And it's like they're never going to talk to each other. The entire game.
This character has saved this person's life like 10 times in battle, and they've never spoken a word outside of combat.
The first like coupling group thing I had was the priest and the thief, and I was like, these aren't the 2 people that I thought would get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, the priest, I don't want to spoil too much, but the priest, again, is a very cool character because he's not just your average, like, for the light, oh, we can't hurt people, blah, blah, blah. He's like this Inquisitor-style guy where he's like, I bet everyone here is a fucking villain. And it's like, it's just a really cool take.
We don't have black and white in media anymore, Sam. Everything has to be morally grey. That's how everything is now. He's a priest, but he also gambles on the weekends or something. Isn't that bad? Oh my god! Oh god, he's just like a real person. Jesus. All right, I'm gonna move it along then. But
Sounds good.
Sick. Okay, what have you been playing, Steve?
Well, I unfortunately haven't had too much time this week because of the hunt drops. So I have been playing the Street Fighter mobile game, Street Fighter Duel, right? I think it's called.
I don't know. You played it.
It's called something. Street Fighter something.
It's Street Fighter Duel.
Yeah. So this game, I downloaded it on the Friday. It was like, I pre-registered, and it was like, oh, it's live. So I started playing it, and I will have to say it's a mobile game.
Yeah, I'm not touching this with a barge pole, and I love Street Fighter.
This game, it's kind of like graphically it looks good and it looks very interesting, but it's just mobile game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I was like, unfortunately there's not too much to talk about with it, but I was like, I could just go over like what it has and why it was like it's kind of off-putting. So you log in and it's like instantly it's like, oh yeah, there are bundles that you could buy for like 40 quid, for 90 quid, but oh look, I unlocked a special sale for 50% off, so it's only 50 quid.
Yep. That's Gacha Mobile.
Yeah, and it's so it's very generous at the start. Like it gives you a lot of pulls for the gacha. So I've gotten like a bunch of characters. I think I've got like Blanca, Zangief, Makoto, Ryuken.
You got Blanca? Fucking throw it in the bin. Reroll, start again. You don't want him.
Do people not like Blanca? I like him.
Blanca's okay. Character-wise, he looks cool. Like he's green Monster Man, whatever. Playing against him in any Street Fighter game, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, is he like a obnoxious character? Right?
Not obnoxious in anything that like he does. Character or animation wise, he's just hard to play against.
Yeah.
He's just annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but it's very much like you don't like. There's just like a campaign. You just press go, and then it automatically turned on the auto battle after like 1 or 2 rounds after like the tutorial of how to play, and I just press go, and it just automatically finishes.
Doesn't that just sum up these types of mobile games where you get 2 rounds in and it's like, we're just going to assume you don't actually want to play the game.
And
we know you're just here for the gambling. Yeah.
Every character has like a symbol below them. I think they're like attacker special. Like there's like a flame, there's a lightning bolt, and there's like an ice or something. I don't know what they do. I don't know how to build to get like an optimal team set up. Like you can have like 4 characters, and each one is like, it's almost like Darkest Dungeon style where like it matters the order you put them in. I don't know what character's good in what position. So I just like put like, oh, Chun-Li's up in front, Ryu's at the back, and it's Just go, and there's so many, and after every single round, there's like 10 things that need to be clicked on. Like, you've completed this mission, you've completed that mission, you've gotten a double of this character. Now you can sacrifice it to empower up your main character.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's so uninspired, because I've also been playing Pokemon Masters a lot recently, which is also similar as like a gacha game, but that game almost goes out of its way to be not super scummy. Probably because it's Pokemon and they have like a reputation to
Yeah,
uphold.
Pokemon really care about the state of their games and their reputation.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but they don't want to appear like they're really taking money from children, you know.
They are with
Um,
Violet. Scarlet and Violet. Their games. I'm joking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like this game is just like it's so
It's
kind
shameless.
of like
Yeah.
mindless and also just so pointless. I've already put it down.
Well,
and,
this game is a template. It's
Yes.
like this game isn't doing anything different. It's the system of you pull characters or units or whatever. Those units add up to a number, and then that number has to be, you know, bigger than your opponent's number. And occasionally there are certain buttons and abilities you use, but ultimately it's just how do you get the number bigger? You have to do more pulls.
It's just a shame, because it's like you can see that if they put a bit of effort into it, there could be a good game potentially there. Like there's like a system where your characters, you can set them up to do like a one combo after another combo after another combo, and there is like potentially something there, but it's just bogged down by mobile garbage.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. And
Is there a good gacha game that's like I guess like Genshin?
Genshin is
Yeah.
probably the closest, but that's only got a lot of game for free because Wales are putting so much into it in the background.
Oh yeah,
so-
yeah. I know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if gacha's good or not is like that's
Yeah,
a whole
yeah,
other
yeah.
thing, right?
I know,
But
yeah,
I'm just like curious: is there a fun
Gen-
actually playing gacha game?
Yeah, Genshin's good, but it feels like the characters are very simple. Like it's like, oh, they've got 2 abilities and an ultimate, and the combat can get repetitive unless you're switching up through characters like fairly often with the new gacha pools. And there's always like power creep. Like the characters that were overpowered at launch are probably shit now because that you need to pull the new ones where they've added this new system, you know. And I assume like that's just what
yeah.
it's like at Pokemon Masters at the moment, where it's like, oh yeah, new characters have like buffs to your whole team, and they come into the match with plus like max attack, and like it's you constantly got to be pulling, and it's a shame.
I do find that like egregious, not egregious. That's not the right word. Aggressive free to play is actually more off-putting to me now than the fact that it's free in the first place. Does that make sense? I used to be like, okay,
Yes.
it's free. It's okay they're doing all this shit at me because, you know, it's free. It's free. Here's what it is. But like, even if this game you're describing, Steve, was really good, if they're constantly shoving shit in your face, it just annoys me now. I just get really like wound up by it.
It's like to follow up on that. I'm starting to get. I used to be of the opinion, right? If a battle pass or whatever was all cosmetic, I didn't give a fuck because I was like, it's cosmetic, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, stop putting battle passes in 70 quid games.
Yeah.
Just stop doing it. Just
Well,
stop.
Well, the difference is that battle passes were at the start only in free to play games.
Yeah.
And then they've slowly but surely pushed the boat out to the point where now battle passes and stuff are in full price games, and it's like, no, wait, hang on a minute. I just paid
for this.
Shouldn't
be in, like the upcoming Suicide Squad game.
Yes.
Shouldn't have a battle pass, but it does.
Yeah.
Well, they had that in the.
My instinct is like, well, as long as it's just cosmetics, it's fine. And then I'm like, no, it's not fine.
I want
There's an internal dilemma.
I want that cosmetic, and I just paid 70 quid for this game, and I've played it for 200 hours. Give me the fucking skin. It's mine.
Yeah.
I guess I don't mind. I don't mind battle passes as long as I can unlock things at my own pace. Because I feel like battle pass is just the new kind of like is just the new standard progression system.
It's
right?
the new
To
carrot
point
on a
where-
stick, yeah.
To
Yeah.
like some games like just tie them in to your progression through the game sort of thing, which is fine to me. Like if I'm unlocking new stuff as over the course of playing a game,
Yeah.
that's fine. But like the idea that I could jump on Suicide Squad like 6 months after launch and be like, look at all these battle passes you missed and cannot play. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense. It's a single player game.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I've had that with. I'm still playing Dead by Daylight, and
Yeah.
there's been certain skins in the game on both Survivor side and Killer side. I've been like, oh, that skin's really cool. I look it up, you cannot get it anymore. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
gone. It's gone forever. It's like, oh,
I don't understand why they're so resistant to just going, this was in this battle pass from 2016. Would you like to buy this and progress through it? Like, is that not better? I don't.
Yeah, that would be the same. Like even battle passes have become the new limited time events, but limited time events often get repeats nowadays, but battle passes just don't.
Yeah.
And I think like it's not perfect, but Rainbow Six Siege, I believe, once their battle pass is gone, like if it's been like a year or something, they just add the items to the into the loot box
That's
rotation.
what I was gonna say. There's two scenarios where I'm happy with battle passes. One is after it ends, quote unquote ends, you can still just go back and complete it at a future time.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's a really cool idea. Like, okay, maybe you lock some stuff and people who complete the battle pass get it early, but like if you come to a game a year late, it might be a little daunting. Maybe now that I think about it, to be like, there's 4 or 5 battle passes you can complete. But on the other hand, I'm like, but at least you've got all that content that you just don't have access to otherwise.
Yeah,
right.
You could hide it from new players. Wait till someone's played 10 hours of Halo Infinite before it goes.
Well, they got to get 10 hours in first.
Yeah, you got to play it first. Yeah, but they go like, okay,
Sorry.
here's some more stuff if you want to poke around.
You
And-
could even. Sorry, go on.
No, I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I killed it. I'm sorry.
Memes too close to the sun.
Thing, yeah, you're gonna have to go, and I'll try and think of it. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say you could even tie past battle passes into like promotions where it's like, hey, come play. I'm gonna keep using Suicide Squad because it's the only one I can think of right now. But like, hey, come play this. You know, it's on sale, and here we'll give you a couple battle passes that you can just play through at your own pace. Like,
Or just yeah,
wouldn't that be good? I don't know. They have people on this, right? So
returning players come back. Will give you double XP and also double XP for older battle passes.
yeah, exactly.
Bam.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is if battle passes can be earned, because they do the whole like, get to level 5 and here's the reward you get if you're a free member and here's the reward you get if you bought the battle pass. Just have it so that your battle passes can be earned somehow in game.
Yeah. Oh, there are still certain games that don't give you the currency back when you finish it to buy the next one, which is fucking baffling to me. I thought we had that fixed. Because it's like if someone finishes a battle pass and they have the currency back, they're gonna buy the next one because they've already put in like 500 hours or something stupid. I only have the current Dead by Daylight battle pass because I finished the previous one. I was like, fucking yeah, sure, why not? I'll put the money back in.
Especially in multiplayer only games where it's like you are the content, you are part of the content, right? You as a player are part of the content for the game.
The game doesn't exist without you.
Rewarding you for putting like the time in to finish a battle pass by letting you keep playing.
It was
battle pass,
It was, and it's funny because obviously it's not funny, but it's just died or it's dying. Is multiverses that battle pass didn't give you the currency back. So I finished, I think the season 0 like beta battle pass for that, which I paid for. And then the game was like, yeah, thank you for playing 80 hours or whatever. Here's the next battle pass, pay up. I was like, oh, no, I'm just going to stop. So I'll go now.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had the money or the currency, I probably would have stayed around. Yeah.
It's just, it's baffling how it seems so obvious how games can make battle passes or even just mobile games just better, but they're just like, no, because there's a couple of whales who will.
Yeah, here's the thing: is they don't need to change it
Yeah.
because it makes money.
Yeah, we'll sit here and complain, or not complain, but talk about how Street Fighter mobile game, Street Fighter Duel looks terrible, blah, 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 but it'll make more money than Street Fighter 6.
And, here's the thing: is we'll sit here and complain about it, but we're the type of people that, given the choice, wouldn't spend money on a battle pass, right? If we can not spend money on it, we wouldn't, and that makes us not the people they want to appeal to.
I suppose, yeah.
Anyway.
We're too smart for them.
That's why we have a podcast to tell everyone about what we think. All right, you got anything else to say about this, Steve, before I push it along?
Nah, it's just kind of uninspired. Wish it would do better. Well, wish they would put more effort into it, but
I just checked. So when you talked about this last week, I hit the pre-order button on the App Store, and I just realized it's at some point in the last week it's installed itself on my phone. So
God, it's like a virus.
I'm playing through right now. I hope I get Chun-Li. Yeah, she's right there.
I will say, I appreciate in Street Fighter 6, I appreciate that Chun-Li is actually getting older, and they haven't like.
Oh yeah, this is the first.
Like, oh, Chun-Li's everyone's like sweetheart, therefore she must always be young. It's like, nah, man.
You know what that is, though, right? It's because young girls are becoming out, and it's now the age of mummies.
No, it's basically
anyway.
people want something different. They were going to do it with Street Fighter 5. You know the topless bearded Ryu, where he looks a lot older.
Daddy Ryu, yes.
He was supposed to be the canonical Ryu for that game, but they backed out last minute, like, oh no, make Ryu normal. Fuck. So.
Oh really?
Oh, they released it as a skin, and then it was shit hot. Everyone fucking loved it.
They were going to have
that's the only DLC I bought for that game.
Yeah, that was going to be canon Ryu. They changed their mind, released it anyway as a skin. Everyone loved it, and I can only imagine internally they were like, "Fuck!" So now Street Fighter 6, they've actually done it this time, and now it's further along the timeline, and Ken's a hobo, and Chun-Li's old, and Cammy's...
Yeah, Ken's lost the kids.
They took the kids! Yeah, everyone...
That's funny, because the last Mortal Kombat did that, didn't it? Where it's like everyone is old now, so that here's a bunch of Mortal Kombat kids who are like
that was...
their students and kids and stuff like grandsons and stuff like that are all taking up the mantle.
Was that MK10 or 11?
I think it was 10.
I think it was 10, yeah. That was. I really like that idea. That was really good. Where it's like, here's all their children.
Because it's like, you can't have a Mortal Kombat without Scorpion. But what if Scorpion was just like his kid? Like, it's just a title. Scorpion's a kid now. It's his. I
can't imagine a world where you're a Mortal Kombat character and your kid says, "I want to be like you when I grow up." You'd be like, "Fuck no!" You'll get your spine ripped out, son. You don't want to be. You don't want to work where I work.
You don't work where I work.
You don't want to come work with me. It'll fucking like clap your head and it'll explode.
I'd love it if like it was like everyone had their kids, and then it was like someone, and then Sub-Zero was like, "Oh, I had my kid a little late. It was just like a baby."
He's an actual baby.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Babalities are in.
Babalities, yeah,
that's a real thing.
Oh my god.
It's not gruesome though. They don't like do anything gross to baby or like kill babies. It's all just like you
kill baby.
You finish a match, turn Scorpion into a baby. Isn't that cute? Moving on.
I feel like at the start of every design doc for a Mortal Kombat, someone writes, "Can we kill babies?" Question mark. And there's like a big room of people, and they're like, "No, it's not time. No, we can not this one, not this one."
Imagine the first ever design meeting back on like Mortal Kombat 3, like 20 years ago, where a guy sits down and says, "Right, bear with me, babalities." And they're like, "Brian, shut the fuck up. We're not going to kill babies."
Yeah.
It's time.
Speaking of killing babies, what have you been doing this week, Will?
Thanks, Josh. I've been playing Atomic Heart, which Steve piqued my interest last week by saying it was
crispy-ass critter.
Kind of jank and very horny, which is like 2 words that will buy some time with me, buy a couple of evenings with me.
My 2 default states.
Kind of jank and kind of horny, yeah. And he's right. But I think you also kind of left out like this game is
everything else.
One of the prettiest games I've played in a really long time. Like, you can see it here. This is like the opening cutscene where you're just wandering through this Soviet town of the future, which is, and it's like it does this cool Bioshock-esque reveal where it's like you were actually on a floating city in the sky the entire time, right? The whole time you're walking through the engine. But so it's like I'm like, damn, the all the robots and the world is so well made and interesting, and like I think whatever else, the design team for this game is like 100%. There's this substance called polymer, which is like a clear gelatin like liquid, which
Plasmids.
which sort of is it's clearly something's gone wrong and it's like been exploded, and then but it's like frozen explosion. So everywhere you go, there's like this. It's kind of like it's being overrun by this polymer, but that becomes a game mechanic where you can like hop in it and then swim through it and come out somewhere else. So you use it for like puzzle solving and stuff. And it's like
That's
I'm like,
cool.
there's so many really clever ideas in this game.
Yeah.
And then the main character opens his mouth, and I'm like, oh, maybe they don't know what they're doing. And it's like I can't work out if I really like this game or I really am just like completely
it's the
meh on
room.
it.
It's the room.
It really is. It really is. Because in some ways, the character has this dynamic where he's like, it's your glove called Charles or something. Charles, and he has this very antagonistic relationship with his glove, but it never explains like where the glove is from or why you're wearing it. And every cutscene sort of plays out like the glove will say something useful, your guy will yell at it, and then the glove will scold you for being rude, and then your guy will kind of like, oh, what do you know, glove? Like, you're just a glove.
Isn't this also kind of the plot to Forspoken, where she's like, I fight dragons and I talk to my glove?
Yeah, someone said that today, actually. They said it was Forspoken had the exact same dynamic, where it's like this weird antagonistic relationship with an inanimate object. And and like that's kind of it started and it was kind of funny, and then it got really tiring by about hour 4, but then it kind of went back around to being really funny again, where I'm just like, why is he so fucking mad at his hand the entire game? Yeah, all the enemies, like the robots that are just like, I don't know how to describe them. The guys in like just white jumpsuits that are so not threatening, but the way they kind of move is really unsettling.
Are they the ones with the mustaches?
Yeah, and they like lock eyes with you, and then all of their moves, they'll like twist their body in a way where like instead of just punching you, they'll like 360 their body, so it's like a wind-up punch, you know.
Yeah.
But the whole time their head just stays locked, looking at you. So it's like it's really unsettling. And there's just so many little clever decisions where it's like we talked about the Hoover thing where you walk into a room and hold a button and you just start hoovering all the loot out of all the cabinets and stuff. Like that should be in. If that's not in the next BioShock, right? They fucked up. They could just lift wholesale.
We come full circle where Atomic Heart steals from BioShock, and then what's it called? What's it called? Judas, that new BioShock game.
Oh yeah,
that just steals a bunch of stuff from Atomic Heart.
Yeah, pretty. So yeah, that's like really clever. But then like, there's a bunch of weird. There's like loads of really clever ideas. But then there's a bunch of weird stuff they've just kind of thrown in where it makes you think like they're clearly taking a lot from BioShock. This is basically Russian BioShock.
Yeah.
But they're taking stuff like they don't know why they're taking it. Does that make sense? Like, you know, when we've all done programming, and it's like you'll come across a thing that, well, we have, but we the three of us, you'll come across a thing where you'll be looking at like examples
for this,
and you'll be like, oh, why? Oh, they did that, and they're smarter than me, so I will just take that and use that. I don't know why that's here, but I will just copy that wholesale. And
like
put
a
it in my
child
project.
imitating an adult.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of what this whole game is kind of what that feels like.
So it's like exact example I had at work where I was like, I couldn't get an Excel formula to work, so I just copied someone else's, and then I looked at it and went, all this guy's done is put false at the end, and his works and mine doesn't, and I don't know why, but I don't care because it works now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
It sounds like there's just not a lot of cohesion between individual elements. Maybe, well, like you say, they just lift certain bits, and it's like that's cool, kind of, but it's part of a larger thing, maybe from in the game that it's copying. I don't know. I still need to play this.
I think you should try it because I don't know. I feel like if people click with this, they'll fucking love it. You know, it's so weird and like out there that I could see people really falling for this game.
It sounds like
I really don't know what to feel about it.
It sounds like when they first released this, like the first ever trailers that were shown. I still believe back then it was almost like, you know how we talk about what is it, the day after, the day before, whatever the fuck it's called.
The day before,
the fake game. It felt like that, and maybe it was just like they had such a strong art team. They're like, oh, okay, maybe we should actually ramp up into full production and make a proper game because people really like this.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, the art team was always stronger than the rest of them.
Or they just put out it's not a tech demo. What's the word? Like a visual like example of what they're going for, sort of thing. And then it's like out there enough that a bunch of investors are like, oh, well, yeah, we'll take a piece of this.
Yeah.
This looks promising.
Yeah.
And then then you have to actually make it, and it's like, oh fuck, making games is hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No one told me it was hard.
There's so much in this game. I really wasn't expecting. I was expecting like budget BioShock, right? But there's and that's sort of how it starts for the first couple of hours. But then you step out into the overworld, and it's like there are cars you can just drive about. It's completely open world. You can go wherever you want.
What the fuck? Unity asset flip. Just suddenly
there's little like side quests you can do and stuff like that. Like it's a real impressive effort from just like a team out of nowhere, you know.
The biggest shock to me is I was so sure that if this game did come out, which obviously it did, it would be like 6 hours long.
Yeah.
But apparently it's
expansive.
It's like 20 hours or something crazy.
Yeah. And there's such like individual bits. Like some of the boss fights are so fun. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It can't decide if it wants to be a BioShock or a survival not
a
survival
forest
crafting. What's the like resource management. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like a Doom?
Like a Doom.
Like a Doom
no,
Eternal?
like the opposite of a Doom. Because it's like because in this it's like you walk into a combat arena and a bunch of stuff will happen and enemies will start spawning and it will start playing the music, but like and you'll be like, all right, let's go. But then it'll be over in like 10 seconds because you're just because it's a crafting game and you've made a really good gun. So it's like the music just starts going. You're like, yeah, let's get it in. And then you kill the 3 enemies in the room, and you're like,
right.
Oh. I think it's Mick Gordon, right? Does the soundtrack, and you hear about 10 seconds of it, and then it just ends. You're like, oh, okay.
Sounds like it needed
back to exploring and looting filing cabinets.
Maybe a few more passes over the game to balance some encounters, make them a bit more. I don't know.
It's and it keeps
what a weird game
adding these like systems on top of each other where there's this whole stealth element, and when you kill enemies in the overworld, it'll send like maintenance robots to just go and fix them until you shut down a thing. Yeah, I actually hated that too because it's like you can never clear an area because they keep just bringing the fucking robots back. It's so annoying.
Like fucking Mr. X in Resident Evil 2, he's always chasing you.
Yeah, except it's like some garbage can.
It's some
like,
nerd robot with a mustache.
Howitzer robot. Yeah, it just keeps chasing you.
It's like, if you could not, please. He's really inconvenient.
The enemies do this. There's so many. I don't know how to like talk about it because there's just so many different weird bits that I just want to mention. Like the robots, when you fight them, everyone have deformation, I guess. Like you can chop limbs off and stuff, and then that is cool. I really don't know how to feel about this game.
It's just weird, isn't it?
It's a really weird release. It's like the perfect Game Pass release for me because it's.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to do really well because people are just going to take a chance on it, right? Because it's on Game
Yeah,
Pass. Yeah,
word of mouth will do this game wonders.
it looks really
Yeah.
visually like
Oh,
interesting.
visually, this game looks incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you've got
And-
the PC to run it.
yeah.
I've heard it runs pretty well.
It runs really well, even on my old machine.
I think
Yeah,
Steve had it running poorly because he has a PC worse than ours, and he cranked it on Ultra for some reason.
I know, I put it on high. I lowered it down from ultra to high.
Same thing.
I've heard that apparently. So it's really odd, right? The game runs really well because apparently a lot of the like ray tracing features and high end features that they like advertised and promised just aren't in the game.
Right.
Oh, okay.
You can go back.
Well,
you can
that's not
go
good.
back, and there's an Nvidia RTX showcase featuring this game for ray tracing, and the final game has like no ray tracing in it.
That's pretty funny.
It's so weird. Such a weird game.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of those ones where I'm like, it's on Game Pass. If this looks interesting,
Yeah.
which it does. There's no harm in giving it a go. You might enjoy it. It's a really strong opening too.
Yeah.
But I feel like the open world will eventually lose me. I don't know if I'm going to finish this game.
So the open world might lose you, but you'll come back for the horny vending machine, right?
That's the worst bit, Steve.
No, the horny vending machine kind of. I actually ended up thinking it was really funny. It's so ludicrously
There we go.
over the top. It's so over the top that I just couldn't help but just laugh
Laugh.
at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet. I know what it is and what it's like, but I haven't actually played the game yet. So if it's
actually.
it's like you say, when
This is-
something's so shit, it comes
Yeah.
full circle, and you're like, no, hang on, this is
Like
actually
if they,
hilarious.
I think if they half-assed it, it would have come across as like creepy and like borderline problematic, right? Like, but the way it's just there's a bit where the vending machine starts cussing out this other female scientist because she's jealous that you're spending it. She's like that bitch in accounting or whatever, and I'm just like, what is this? This is so wacky.
I did not hit her. It's bullshit.
It is the room, yeah.
It is the room. I'm sorry. It
Gaming
is,
equivalent of the room.
everything I've heard about this is just the gaming equivalent of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play it at some point. I've got some stuff I want to play before this, but like you say, because it is Game Pass, I do want to check this out at some point, and I
Yeah.
will check it out. So it'll happen at some point. So cool. All right, I'll jump into what I've been doing. Then I've got a few really really quick updates that I'm not going to talk about, but just to sort of clear. I finished Hi-Fi Rush.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, I was ready to literally shelf that, and then you yourself, Will, in chat was like, just go finish it. And I was like, oh, fucking fine. And then, then I did in like 2 days. That game's amazing. That game is absolutely brilliant. The humor is so on point. It's one of the funniest games I think I've played in a while.
I watched the clip of what I assume is one of the first boss fights where you take the woman through the elevator. And
That's the
her
bit.
head on the
Yes.
elevator.
That's the clip that gets me. Yeah.
I was just there, just like, oh, okay, it's happened twice. It's not like it's either gonna happen a third time, and it's like you see him like, it's like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna do it this time, and I was like, oh, okay, and then it fucking gets me again, and I'm like, I was ready for this.
Yeah,
it's so good. The game is full of bits like that, and I felt like it always landed for me. So that was really really good. I really enjoyed that. So I finished that, and I also went back and finished Bayonetta 3, which is what I'm going to be talking about now. If I just get this.
Well, nice.
I've got some shit to say about this game. So I'm not going to go crazy into the combat because I did that in a previous podcast, right? Everything I said about it back then is still the same. This game is absolutely amazing. Like, it's the best Bayonetta's ever been, like, combat-wise. It's just so fun to play. And all the cutscenes, you can see it now, her on screen, like all the crazy shit she does all the time. It's just absolutely amazing. So yeah, still 10 out of 10 in that regard. But I kind of sat down and I was like, right, I'm renting this game. It's sitting there doing nothing. And I kind of want to see where the story goes. So I'm just going to polish it off. Now's your last sort of chance to skip forward to the next section if you don't want this spoiled, because I am just going to completely spoil the ending. This game, I think, has one of the worst endings I've seen in a game in a long time.
Oh, wow.
It is horrible. I hate this ending with a passion. I went to bed that night after finishing this. I was fucking mad. I was so upset about what they've done to the ending of this game. So I'm going to give a little bit of context, right? Just to sort of set it up. So in Bayonetta 1 and 2, there's like a long-running character called Luca. And he's a dude that's always kind of like thirsting for Bayo, kind of. But the way Bayo is, it's kind of like she's not interested. She's, you know, he's like kind of like almost like a pet kind of thing. She's like, oh, go be a good doggy and go do whatever. Because, you know, Bayo's Bayo, right? It's all like dominatrix shit. And it's like, that's the dynamic of the relationship. So then you get to Bayo 3. And again, Bayo's this character that always kind of like looks after herself and does everything for herself. And this guy suddenly becomes, he's like one of the main characters now, as opposed to a side character. And him and Bayo just suddenly love each other for some reason. So there's like a love thing that comes out of nowhere, and like he saves her. And it's like, okay, this is kind of like weird, but you can see him on screen now. That's him there. He's suddenly a main character. So there's a bit of context there for him. So the reason I mentioned that specifically is because what really, really ruins the ending is you'll see now on screen there's another character, right? There's a new character called Viola. She's like a punk rocker with blonde hair and blue lipstick and blue highlights. She's horrible. Like, I hate her character. She's really annoying. Her gameplay parts just aren't fun compared to like being Bayonetta. She's really annoying. I can't stress the fact she's really annoying. I really don't like her.
Didn't this happen in the latest? Sorry, I don't want to derail you. Didn't this happen in the latest Devil May Cry as well?
It kind of happened with Nero in like DMC4, where people were like, I don't like Nero.
I think that's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
But they kind of fixed it because he's really cool in DMC5.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so new character, Viola. Yeah, she's in the game. She's really annoying. Don't like her at all. The reason the ending is so bad is because you get a few twists back to back. So, Viola is the child of Bayonetta and Luca from another dimension. Because the plot's all about, you might remember from last time, it's all about like alternate universes and shit.
Yeah.
She's the child of Bayo and Luca, which is okay. Okay, it's fine. It's not a problem. It's fine. The game ends with Bayo dying. She's gone. And the mantle is passed to Viola, who inherits the name Bayonetta. And she is now the main character going forward in the series. Oh, I want to scream! I hate this character so much. And now the next trilogy, apparently, is going to be the main character that I just don't like this character. I really don't like this. It really spoiled it for me because I was like,
okay,
yeah.
Is it like a Metal Gear Solid Raiden kind of situation where she could get cool? Given the right.
She could 100% be saved, but I don't know how you would do it without literally almost like retconning the character and
just rewriting her completely. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because I didn't know, because it's been a while. This game's been out for a while. I didn't know this was such a hot issue. But as soon as I finished it, I was like, "What the fuck?" I googled it, and all you find are people online going, What the fuck? Like, why? So
is it set up, or does it just come out of nowhere?
It kind of comes out. Viola. I think I'm saying her name right. Viola. She's a new character for this game. She's not in any other Bayonetta games. She's brand new for this game.
Yeah.
So she comes out of nowhere. And another one of the sort of twists, which I mentioned, how sort of Bayonetta and Luca being together is kind of weird in the first place. But another one of the twists that kind of makes that okay, I guess, is that every Bayonetta from all 3 games is a different character. They're not the same character.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have a big like finale where all 3 of them team up,
Oh, okay.
which is cool.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That sounds fucking awesome.
That is really good. It's you do the final boss fight, with all 3 Bayonettas. They kind of morph to one, and their moves kind of like echo. It's really cool, and everything after that fight goes to shit. It's all downhill from that fight. And that's why I didn't know the ending was so controversial, because if you look at this game from outside, all the reviews are like 9s and 8s and 9s, and it's rightfully so, because the game is really good. The ending is just horrible. I couldn't believe how much I hated it. Yeah. It happened Monday. I did Monday night, and I was like, oh, fuck, I got to sit on this now for like 2 days. till I can scream about it.
Well, because you posted in our Discord and said, what did you say? I finished Bayonetta 3. I want to scream.
Yes.
And I sort of because it's Bayonetta, and I sort of read that, and I'm like, that could go either way. I don't know.
It's
Just
just
if he really likes that or not.
it's just I don't know. I don't really know what they were thinking, because to introduce a character in one game and then have them inherit everything. It's not just like the next game you play as Viola or whatever. It's like, no, she is Bayonetta now. It's the family name. Her name is, she's Bayonetta. She will be referred to as Bayonetta.
Well, maybe they had the foresight to do this because they knew, like, voice actor drama, and now
possibly. And it's actually interesting in hindsight, because do you remember when it came to light all the voice actor stuff where they said they called her in to do a minor role, but she wanted full price?
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is because I assume, obviously there's a lot of assuming here, I assume it was just to get her to voice the Bayonetta 1 and 2 characters, and not the Bayonetta 3 character. And that would have made
more sense with the Bayonetta 3 having... Wow. Oh, okay.
So I guess that's why they wanted to pay her less in the first place. It's because it sucks to got to move away from the voice anyway if she wanted to voice it. But it's like, well, if it's not the same character, then
it's not that bad.
It's not. Yeah, it's all kind of weird, really, in hindsight, because that was such a big drama at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't know. Even as I'm talking about it now, I don't know how I feel about it. It just feels really frustrating, really, because the Bayonetta, the character, is one of the main reasons I love this series so much. I think she's perfect. I love the character so much. And
that's a really bold strategy, killing off the character the game is named after. That's
is that exactly?
That's like killing John Halo.
it's like, so I think her real name is Cereza or something.
Yeah,
and the family name is Bayonetta, which is why it's like at the end the guy's like, "Hey, come on, Viola. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't call it anymore. Bayonetta." And it's like, and then she like winks at the camera, and it's like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna snap my Switch in two."
It is a bold move. Like, the Bayonetta's always been known for like kind of her sex appeal, and this Viola, doesn't seem to be that.
She doesn't. There's none of that, and that's the reason I liked Bayonetta so much. Is because it was like the character itself of Bayonetta was always like, everything she did was always very like sexual, but it was never, at least to me, it was never like sexy. It was never supposed to be. It was almost like this woman doing what she wanted without giving a fuck about what anyone thought.
It's what she wanted, not for herself, not for the pleasure of men.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And now it's just, this new character just has not a lot going on. I think the reason she's supposed to be like half goofy and half serious is because, again, she's like half Bayo and half this Luca character. The Luca character being an absolute goofball. I don't know, man. I'm just going to go around in circles, so I'll wrap it up. But it's weird. I didn't think I thought I would finish this and be like, that was really cool. As always, Bayo games always end at least in a cool way. And it did, but I was just left kind of annoyed when it was over, which is a shame. I think Bayonetta 4 whenever it does happen, I think will be really interesting to watch what happens, because I don't think this character will be the same. Not after this like feedback.
Is this a? Have you like been to like the forums? Have you gone to see if this is a common?
Yes, the first thing I did was I went on Google and typed in Bayonetta 3 ending, and all I got were a combination of articles and subreddit posts, everything saying it was either Bayonetta 3 ending explained or Bayonetta 3 fans aren't happy with the ending, here's why kind of stories.
Classic, yeah.
And then, like I said, you go on like Reddits and forums and stuff, and everyone's just like, really? Is this what we're doing? Because I don't think I'm alone in the fact that like Bayo is one of the selling points of these games. It's just her character.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So other than that, though, great game. Really fun. Really fun game. Really fun game.
Down by the last 10%, 5%.
Well, the overall story, which I won't get into, the overall story itself does have a shitload of problems. But again, most of the time you're not here for the story. It just stands out when it really shits the bed at the end. But some highlights of the story, because you do all the not time travel, all the universe travel shenanigans. You see a whole bunch of different just variations of Bayonetta, which are just visually are very cool. I think I mentioned one a few weeks ago about one that's got pink hair and is kind of chavvy. And there's one on the screen now. You can see there's like a feudal Japan or like China. I don't know what that style is, but it's like a like feudal version. There's an ancient Egypt. Bayo.
It's like a Dynasty Warriors Bayonetta. Yeah.
There's an Egyptian Bayo, like white hair. It's just tons of cool stuff like that in the game. So I like that stuff.
That's fun.
And that's what it should be. It should, it's fun. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Shame about the ending, but yeah, I feel better now. I've spoken about it.
You got it all out of your system.
I got it all out of my system. But yeah, so we'll go straight from that. And I think that's all of us done for the week. We'll talk about a few news bits. There's some really good news this week, actually. I was going through it earlier today, and I was like, what has happened this week? And then when I sat down and started looking at it, I was like, oh shit, actually, tons of stuff has happened. We'll move on to this. We'll go on to this one very quickly. What was it, like an hour after we wrapped up the podcast last week? There was a state of play. Was it the same day?
No, it was on the Thursday.
The day after, okay.
Yeah.
We haven't got to talk about this loads, but there are a few things here I think are worth mentioning. We'll go through it quickly for the sake of time, because there's a few other things I want to talk about. I would have watched this live if I knew it was going to be a Capcom bomb during this show.
Yeah.
I had no clue. You had Street Fighter 6 with 3 new characters, which were Zangief, Cammy, and Lily, who's a new character.
Lily looked awesome.
Street Fighter 6, man, just continues to look absolutely amazing.
I'm really tempted to check it out, and I know that's a mistake. I know I won't get into it, but there's something about the way they do characters and the way they animate. I'm like, these are so. I just want to watch these people beat the shit out of each other. They're so well animated.
I cannot wait to play this. I'm going to be playing it so much when it comes out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had that, and that's now that they've shown those 3 characters, that's the entire launch roster now, which is cool. So there's no more reveals coming until after the game launches.
The game is coming out in June, right?
June something. I think it was like mid-June.
It's weird to me that they've announced the entire roster and we're not getting any more updates till after June, when it's like that's still several months away.
I think you'll probably get a few more betas in between now and
hopefully a public one.
Launch. Possibly. I'd be surprised if they didn't. They normally, I think Street Fighter 5 had one public weekend right before it launched. Which was annoying because the beta went great and then the game launched and it was broken. So hopefully Street Fighter 6 can do better. But yeah, you had so Street Fighter 6 looking amazing. You also had Resident Evil 4. It got its 3rd trailer. Again, this comes out really soon.
March 24th, I believe.
God, it looks so good. Oh, we're in March now. It's this month. So excited. Any of you here care about Resident Evil 4? You must have played it. Someone here must have played it.
Yes, I really want to play it.
I am
Yeah.
excited for it. I'm trying to keep my expectations low.
I mean,
But
it looks amazing.
I'm getting. I don't want to get overexcited because I didn't play it when it was fresh, right?
Yeah.
I was the type of person who played it later on. And I actually played Resident Evil 5 well before I played Resident Evil 4.
Really?
Yeah. I
Interesting.
played Resident Evil 4 late.
Yeah.
But I still loved it. And now I'm like, okay, but let's not like expect this to be the second coming of Jesus, you know what I mean? Or the third, I guess.
It might be the second coming of Jesus though, Sam. It looks amazing.
It looks, yeah. The one thing which I don't know if I'm apprehensive about or excited for is they seem to have done this like parry mechanic or something.
Yes,
it
with the
looks like they
knife,
got something going on with the knife. And that could be incredible or it could feel really jank. And I'm not going to know until I got my hands on it.
So what I've heard so far, there's been some new information drop. Literally, I think it was either today or yesterday. You know, if you remember Resident Evil 4, you could pull out the knife whenever you wanted, and you could just like kneecap someone with a gun, run over to them, and they fall over, knife, and kill them. From what I understand about this new one, is the knife is not, excuse me, the knife is not a permanent fixture of Leon anymore. It's like a usable, you know, like it's got like a durability or something, and it's a lot stronger because of that. So you can parry moves that would normally kill you and stuff like that.
So you can't always fall back on the knife.
You can't always fall back on. I think
right.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It was like that, I think, in Resident Evil 2 remake, where you could have like a knife or like a side weapon, and if you got munched on, you could use it as like an oh shit thing to not take damage.
Yes, I think you're right. Was that RE2?
I think it was 2 remake, yeah. It was also in 1 remake, long time ago on GameCube.
That sounds right. Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
You say anything confidently enough. It's
yeah. Honestly, I always liked having the infinite knife as like reliable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it was kind of silly though, where like you would do what I just said, where you would kneecap someone and then just knife.
Yeah, but it took so long to kill everyone. But like it was efficient, right?
Yeah.
For resources, but it was hella inefficient for time.
Yes, yeah.
So you pick your poison.
Yeah,
right?
back when Sam used to speedrun Resident Evil 4.
I mean,
hey, me and Sam speedrun Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, just so you
there were no breaks on that train. I remember. I was like, let's play RE5, Sam. That'll be fun. And Sam was guiding me by the hand, like I was like a child, and he was like tugging me by the hand through this, and he was going, "Gem up there. Make sure when you turn the corner, you shoot that, so we can get the gem out of it."
Shiver.
There was so every opportunity we were in. Yeah, Resident Evil 5 literally was a game where if I would have got into speedrunning, it would have been that game.
Yeah. Like, I really love Resident Evil 5. I think that game's fantastic.
That'll be the next on the chopping block, right, for a remake at this rate.
I just want to say, I just wanted to point out that in response to the knife thing, Josh was worried that Resident Evil would be too silly if you could knife zombies.
That's true.
This is the game where a small childlike dictator rides a giant robot version of himself to chase you through a castle.
There's no way.
Knifing a zombie 3 times would be too much.
They can't put that in the remake, right?
If it's not, I'm going to be extremely sad.
There's so much. Resident Evil 4 in particular has so many scenes where in isolation you're just like, what the fuck is this game? This is so weird. It's like, you go across a lake in a boat and there's a massive fish monster for some reason. And then you kill it, and it's never mentioned.
And then there's no explanation for why it's there. They just, But I'm really excited. I'm excited, but I'm like, am I gonna have time to play this? Is this another one?
You'll make time. You have to.
There's nothing else coming out in March, so What
I will say, one last thing is, in this new trailer, there are, without spoiling this, 20-year-old game at this point, there are certain characters within certain scenes that should not be there. If you remember the original story.
Right.
Barely, but I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
And everyone's like, I can't remember the official, what Leon says in the trailer. He says something towards the end, like, this time it has to be different or something. Whilst they're showing all this weird shit that shouldn't be or that doesn't happen in the original game, which I'm kind of excited for.
Are they going to pull a Final Fantasy VII remake? Do you think?
I don't think it'll be that, like, as big as that, but I think they're gonna somewhat mix it up.
Because depending on who you ask, right, 4 was the last truly good original RE game.
Yeah, those people are wrong, but
those people are wrong. 6 is clearly the best.
Yes.
But I wonder if they'll branch off and start doing. They'll take it in a different direction.
I think what I will say is, as good as RE4 was, there are some story issues that have, like, some stuff happens in a really weird order, where it's like a certain character will exit the story randomly, and you'll be like, oh, that character's just gone now. Whereas I think, like I mentioned, there's certain characters in certain bits, maybe they'll mix up to make the story flow a bit better.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think characters that died in the original will survive in this, but I think they might move it around a bit to make the story more cohesive. Maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, or none of it might happen, and I might be completely wrong, but we'll just...
You're talking about Mike, right?
Yeah, Mike, yeah. Mike!
The best cutscene in that game.
Yeah. The game's going to end with Leon and Mike on the jet ski leaving together. Alright, last thing of this thing that we'll talk about. This was deep dive into Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know what I feel about this game. It's
funny. We were all quite. I feel like we were talking about it in Discord, and we were all quite positive about it. And then it's like the more they talk about it,
yes,
the more worried I get. Where I see some of this gameplay and cutscene, and I'm like, yeah, like Evil Flash, and you playing as all these, fun, like Captain Boomerang seems fun. And then jumping around and doing fun combos and stuff. And then it's like they did a deep dive after where they were talking to developers, and they're like, we've got gear score, we've got randomly generated loot, we've got a battle pass you can buy, and we're all like, hold on. Wait a minute.
I think all my initial excitement came from the fact that we were talking about who is what character. And how we would all play together. I think this game could have been like anything. I would be like, yeah, 4-player co-op. I would be this character, yeah. And then when you take a step back and look at the game, I'm like, oh, actually, no, this looks kind of horrible.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint I've seen is people saying you have all these cool characters like Captain Boomerang and the Shark Man, whatever he's called, Big Shark, and it's just like, yeah, they've all got Uzis and machine guns and shotguns, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but then like I feel like that's just I don't feel like that's out of character. It's not like Batman is running around looting shotguns, right? It's like,
yeah,
I totally buy that Captain Boomerang does not use his boomerang 100% of the time when he's just doing like regular gangster shit around Gotham. No, not Gotham. Wherever he hangs out.
Metropolis.
Is it Metropolis? Is that the Flash?
No, that's where this game's set. It's the Superman land, right?
Metropolis. Yeah. Same with like Harley Quinn and King Shark, I guess. Like, yeah, those people would totally pick up like AKs if they felt like it, So that I don't mind, as long as they have enough of their character in other areas.
Yeah.
That didn't really bother me too much.
I do think this is probably one of the lamest ways they could have shown it off, because I kind of got caught up in all the flair, and when you take a step back, it is 4 players in a third-person shooter co-op game shooting a big artillery gun whilst defending against waves in a gear score game.
Yeah.
And like I said, you get caught up when you take a step back. You're like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of generic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy that's just like, I read it on Reddit and now this is what I think. But like I did think that like when you take a step back and look at it, it's kind of like, yeah, it is kind of
I feel like
generic.
a lot of it's happened to a couple games this year where between this and like Redfall, and there was another one I was thinking about the other day where I'm like, I know these studios can make really good games, so
Why
when they're
don't
saying
they?
all the stuff like battle passes and gear score and loot and stuff like that, I'm like, they must know, right? They know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
These are the Arkham guys. They wouldn't make a not fun game.
We've said this before a million times, which is just video games are. It's insane they even exist because they're so fucking hard to make.
Yeah.
The amount of technicality and thought and planning and work, tens of thousands of man hours.
Yeah.
Into making a game. You don't set out to make a bad game. This game has been designed to be a game that runs as a service that makes just a shitload of money with a DC license added to it.
Exactly. So when the director of the studio is sat in front of a camera and he goes, "We think you guys are really gonna like it," and I'm like, "Well, I kind of trust him. He wasn't wrong before."
Well, it might be like when you get your hands on it, it's just like, oh shit, it just feels really nice.
It just feels really fun to play. Yeah.
It's like how you can look at not throwing like shade, but you can look at Destiny from afar and be like, okay, yeah, it's a shooter game in space where you collect loot, it's fine.
Yeah.
But then when you play it, it's like, oh, actually, this is really fun to just play.
Yeah.
It might be one of those things. Who knows? It might come out and it might be really good. It might come out, it might be fucking awful. You don't know until.
I think this game will hopefully, like, because I know the Avengers game had like a beta weekend or something where we all played. I'm hoping that we'll have something like that as well, so we can kind of.
You kind of have to for these sorts of games because they're so
Oh,
reliant on being co-op, right?
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
You think they'll just launch it and it just comes with the, the expected. Oh, sorry, the game just doesn't work for 2 days.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they do.
So this is another, to talk about the busy part of the middle of the year. This is another May release, right? Comes out, I think, like a week or two after Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which inherently is like 1 or 2 weeks before everything else. What was it? Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, Diablo. Middle of this year is just fucked, basically. There's so much stuff.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot to talk about, at least, which would be fun.
Yeah, well, we're just coming off of like a busy February as well, so there's just it feels like there's just so much to play right now.
And then we just gonna say we've even got like packs coming out like next month, I think, or something. So there'll be even more stuff announced.
Yeah, that was like that's the American conference, right? I think that's more.
I think so. Yeah,
I think that's more indie stuff.
It might be, but game devs like to be like, oh, this is our time. Like no one else will be announcing stuff. This is our time to announce something.
So yeah, that was that one. This was a whole state of play for PlayStation, so there is more. Those are the 3 big ones. The rest of it was basically VR games. Which is there's a Destiny 2 expansion trailer, which is out now, I think. Is that right?
Yeah,
yes,
it came out yesterday.
And a whole bunch of VR stuff. So that was that one. You had, very quickly, to keep Steve happy, Pokemon Presents. A few things shown here. There was Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic, probably the most interesting thing here for me, to be honest. I thought this was really cool. So if I get any of this wrong, Steve, you can correct me, but it's the original card set relaunched with a big fancy like base to play on and a whole bunch of like counters and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not entirely sure. It made it sound like maybe there were slight changes in the cards.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure though. I didn't look too much into it. This looks cool, but too expensive for me.
I was going to say the kind of not the opposite, but I feel like this is targeted towards our age like bracket, right? Like adults that are nostalgic for Pokemon, but now have houses and money, and they want something. You can put this on a coffee table in a nice living room and be like, look at, remember this, friends, Pokemon cards. I thought it looked really cool. So you had that Netflix show, which is stop motion. Always a fan of stop motion.
Yes.
Always love a bit of stop motion. Pokemon Concierge is what it's called. Pokemon Unite updates, Cafe, blah, blah, blah. Pokemon Sleep finally announced.
Yep.
Well, not announced, re-revealed because it was really old, right?
It was announced beforehand that they were doing something. This is like the reveal of what the actual game is.
Yeah.
Or game in quotes. It's a sleep app.
It's a cute way for Pokemon Company to get data on your sleep. If you're into that sort of thing.
It's a good way to sleep with your Pokemon. Sorry, what?
I thought it was. There's a bit. There's
Hey guys.
There's a bit. It's here. You can see it on the screen. There's Pokemon Go Plus Plus. It's a device, a physical device that they're launching that goes with Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sleep. And they have in this trailer. It's a whole bunch of like adults. Oh, that's really loud. A whole bunch of adults like sleeping with their Pokemon and stuff. And like, isn't that cool? And then this device shouts Pika Pika at you and sings you Pikachu lullabies, and I'm like, what? Is that?
So it's a really fancy alarm clock.
Kinda, yeah. It just seems weird how it's like kids aren't gonna monitor their sleep. They don't really care about that.
Yeah.
But then here's a really childish device aimed at adults. It was just weird to me.
I think you're forgetting that Pokemon also have an app out, which is you brush your teeth to get Pokemon.
Wait, did that come out?
That's out. That's been out.
Oh, I forgot about that. I know it was real. I just thought it never came out.
No, it's out. No one uses that.
Pokemon Sleep sent me to sleep watching this direct. Haha.
When's it gonna? When am I gonna be able to catch Pokemon based on how good I am at? Nope. But no.
Based on how good you are at sleeping with them, what?
yeah.
And then probably the most important thing, the DLC for Scarlet and Violet.
Some of it's out now, some of it is just announced, but
we're
so
getting
excited.
Scarlet and Violet DLC before we're getting Elden Ring DLC. What
Apparently
the
so.
I was going to say, so the Scarlet and Violet thing is, like in the game right now, there are 2 new legendaries, the Suicune and Virizion, which you can just go catch.
Iron Leaves and something else.
Walking Wake.
Yeah. Wake and Bake.
So yeah, and they've also patched the game. I know, like, it's added some quality, like a bunch of quality of life features. I know people are going to care about the performance. So the main thing that they did for the performance was they limited NPCs and Pokemon on screen to be limited to 15 only. So it's like a 20% reduction in what it was, and it has helped with general performance for the game.
It now runs at 4K, 60 FPS.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks amazing.
We're getting the Pokemon Home update on March 2nd, so that will be tomorrow for live listeners. But yeah, the main thing was they announced it's called Pokemon Area Zero, or the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. And it's 2 DLCs, which one is releasing in autumn and one is releasing in winter. The first one is apparently, it seems to be like Japanese festival themed, and there's 4 legendary Pokemon already announced for that. And then the second one seems to be you are going to a different school as an exchange student and fighting over there, and there's 1 legendary Pokemon announced for that.
Do you remember what the school is called, Stephen?
It depends what game you played.
No,
yeah,
the DLC, right?
Oh, right.
It's called the...
It's got a very stupid name.
I've forgotten. What is it?
It's the Blueberry Academy.
Oh, okay. Oh, because... I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've announced this, and yeah, you can purchase these now, the DLC packs, and they are like 30 quid, I believe, for the pack containing both of them. And
that's a lot of money.
Well, it's like 15 quid each, and it is like whole areas. It will be worth it content wise.
It will be worth it. It will be worth it content wise.
If it's like the Sword and Shield one, that was 100% worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what was announced. It looks kind of, but it was mostly just like teaser stuff for now.
Yeah.
for the games. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
What's the general reception? Do you know?
For Pokemon people, it seems to be they like the idea of it all. They think the legendaries look stupid, but of course they do. But yeah, it seems to be mostly positive, especially like this first little patch has like changed some stuff, fixed some stuff. They gave you new Pokemon to get right now, so everyone seems to be like. I went on my game and caught them because I was like, yes, I need them.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, just seems to be somewhat positive.
Well, hopefully it's good.
Or like, it's okay.
Yeah, have to wait and see till it comes out, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the Pokemon Direct. Slingshotting off of that DLC. You've also got more DLC that was announced. This is the Elden Ring DLC.
This is weird.
dropped on a
weird.
tweet on a Tuesday morning, a crisp Tuesday morning. From Software hit the button on Twitter and we're just like, yeah, Shadow of the Erdtree coming soon. Not much really known outside of that. You got key art.
There's a funny story about the key art. Apparently, like they released it and it's like 100 megabits. Like it's so massive and detailed. And like apparently, like is it Vati Video or something? Is already in like a 15-minute video going over every single inch, being like the wheat is different here, so that might.
Oh my god! Look, that man's. That's his lifeline, right?
He's got. Yeah. Shadow of the Erdtree announced. Look at this wheat brackets. Prepare to cry. I think I'm excited for this. Obviously, it's like Elden Ring DLC. Loved Elden Ring. Kind of weak name though, right?
Yes.
Shadow of the Erdtree. It's just of all the other DLCs, they always had really cool names. At least I can't remember them more specifically. But
what are some of the names? Because I've not looked at any DLC.
Well, let's
from
okay.
Soulsborne.
So
they had the Prepare to Die edition, right? That was for Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if that had. It was like something. I don't know if it was called like Artorias of the Abyss or something, but that's what it focused on. There was two. It was
Artorias of the Abyss.
Scholars of the First Sin. Right?
Scholar of the First Sin was the collection, but it was the trilogy of the Crown of the X King, right? So it was like Crown of the Ivory King, Crown of the Sunken King, etc. For 2, and then 3 was like something the Ringed City.
So you got Artorias of the Abyss, the Ringed City, Ashes of Ariandel, Crown of the Old Iron King, Scholar of the First Sin, the Lost Crowns, Crown of the Sunken King, and Crown of the Ivory King. I don't know. Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh, I get it. I mean, the whole game takes place in the Shadow of the Erdtree, so
yeah,
it's kind of like, well, yeah.
Duh. I think from what I've briefly seen, people are speculating that this is in the past, so it might be like a separate instanced area and not just like a new landmass bolted onto the side.
They normally are. You'll get in a coffin and ride down another waterfall and end up here somehow.
You'll go to some old lady and she'll give you a locket and she'll go, "Don't look inside the locket," and you'll open the locket and you'll get sucked inside and suddenly you're in a volcano.
Yeah.
Dark Souls DLC in a nutshell. But
I'm excited. They never make their DLCs. Usually, it's like they take all the best parts of the game and they're like, right, what do people really like? What do people not like? And that's the DLC, you know?
Yeah, it's like Max just said in chat. Like, I agree. Like, Dark Souls DLC, at least from what I've played, has never been bad. It's always been really fun. I can't see this being any different. I think it's kind of. I'm getting excited for the DLC, even though I didn't explore every area of the original game, so I should probably go back and.
No, but that's good because now it's like this is your perfect excuse to. You've got
I said
all the bits you didn't see, and you've got this whole new bit of content to play through.
Yeah, I was talking to Absurdity on your Discord, and I was saying how I'm looking forward to whenever in the future, if I ever go back and play this, because a fun thing about going back to a Souls game after it's been out for ages is you can just go on Google or whatever and look up the stupidest builds and
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
guides on
yeah.
like, okay, when your game first comes out, you gotta, you play it the best you can. Everyone's all playing together. You go back like a year later. Here's how to get like a double lightsaber build or something. Or like,
Yeah, yeah.
here's how you get a giant ballista and use that as a ranged weapon throughout the entire game. Like, yeah. So
I'm happy for you, Elden Ring fans, that you're getting DLC, but I don't.
You're not gonna go for it.
I couldn't bring myself to finish the game.
I
I
remember,
don't even think I got halfway through.
Even I finished the game.
I think I'm just done with those styles of games. I appreciate them from afar. I just don't have the patience for them. I just don't have what it takes anymore.
Elden Ring is the last big open world game that I actually finished. I didn't mention it in my section earlier. I meant to, but I completely forgot. I have also shelved Hogwarts Legacy. I cannot do it. Cannot do it.
That's fair.
I look at the open world and I just go, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And I want no part of that right now. So yeah, Elden Ring must have done something right for me personally if I finished it. I don't know.
It's got that like Dark Souls bit to it, right?
Yeah.
I think that is just enough for a lot of people. Because it does give you that rewarding feeling of like every time you win in Dark Souls or Elden Ring, you won because you were better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you feel that. And I appreciate that. Whereas in other open world games, it's like, oh, I just out gear scored that, or I cheesed it, or this, that, the other. I mean, you can cheese. I've seen enough cheese in Dark Souls. But you get the point. Like, most of the times, you beat a boss and you're like, fuck yeah, I fucked that guy up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that was all me.
I do. I feel like in retrospect now, Elden Ring's been out now for what, like a year and a quarter? It's been out for a long time now.
No, I think it's the 1 year anniversary just went by.
Oh, is it? I thought it came out at the end of the year. Oh no, it was January, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was early last year. Yeah.
I feel like now I look back at Elden Ring the same way a lot of people look back at Breath of the Wild, where you see it's got like 200 reviews that are all like 10 out of 10. And I'm like, was it that good? It was good. I don't think it was like the game of the decade.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. When Breath of the Wild came out, that was the game where everyone was like, this game is incredible.
Yeah.
This is the benchmark for future games. And now, like, you speak to those same people and they're like, I mean, Breath of the Wild was good, but it wasn't anything like fantastic.
Yeah. I feel like that's just a part of like
Life.
Gaming culture though. And
Yeah.
maybe it's just a part of life is that it's really easy to get swept up in the hype of a new FromSoft game and it's Elden Ring and it's reviewing really well and everybody's enjoying it and everyone's like, because we were all there and we were like really enjoying it.
Then I think it's really fun to get caught up in the wave.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it is. And then, but like after a year, you can kind of look back on it and go like, well, it was really good, but
wasn't that good?
It wasn't perfect. Like, yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing else known about it so far outside of this image. Apparently, February 22nd was when Elden Ring came out. Apparently.
Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. Yeah, almost exactly a year then.
Yeah.
We've got a few more stories. We'll go through. We've only got a little bit of time left, so we'll do what we can. This was a big bomb this week. It's about Escape from Tarkov.
That video.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, that video was incredible.
A fun story.
Do you guys have time? Did you want to carry on a little bit longer and talk about this a little bit?
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's up to you two. Oh, up to you three. Sorry. Because otherwise,
we probably cover this in like 14 minutes.
Yeah. This won't take long.
So basically, Tarkov. I can't remember the guy's name, but a very prominent Tarkov content creator. It was a Goat. Came out and made a big video exposing just how Tarkov has a serious cheating problem. Which every game has cheats. Like, you can't stick your head in the sand. Like, most games that you play have some form of cheating in it. But apparently in Tarkov, it's a very high percentage, and it's also a game obviously a game like Tarkov based around permadeath and lots of time investment. You don't want to play in a lobby that has cheaters, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this guy, he went in with essentially it's called ESP, and it's basically like a mini map that lets you see all the players on a map and the direction they're looking.
It's your sort of bog standard like wall hack.
Yeah, bog standard
in another
wall hacks,
game. Yeah.
You can see it here in this thumbnail for his video. You can see the wireframes and stuff like that. And as he was going around and playing, he would realize that players, 3 or 4 walls between him and a player, they would lock onto his position and things like that. And it's obvious they're cheating. And the interesting part about it, and what a lot of people are talking about with this video, is cheaters would, when they realized that you're both cheaters, they would wiggle, as in like lean left, right. And cheaters would be, a lot of them would be passive with each other. They would straight up just not kill each other and be like, "Hey, sup? How's it going?"
Yeah,
You're cheating, I'm cheating. So this is huge for that Tarkov community, right? Because the wiggle is already it's a gentleman's agreement. It's a gentleman's handshake. So this is like an inbuilt thing that they have, like, when people are like, I want to create my own moment in a video game and stuff like that. Like, the wiggle is that for Tarkov. The players made that. The wiggle was a sign of trust, and everyone uses it. If you're a PMC or if you're a scav, you wiggle at someone, they wiggle back. That means I ain't killing you, you ain't killing me.
Yeah, we go about our business and carry on.
Yeah, we have made a blood debt that we will not kill each other. Like, that's how much it meant to people.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing people talking about, like, seeing cheaters using it, like, literally broke their hearts.
Yeah.
Because it's
they took advantage of it.
Yeah. No, seriously, like, this was a thing that, like, it was their thing. Like, it wasn't in other games. This was the Tarkov thing, and now cheaters are using and abusing it. Yeah. And they were just there like, I don't know how to feel about this.
I don't know about that. That's like saying, like, oh, jumping in World of Warcraft was the thing that the players came up with, and it symbolizes how.
Well, it's not. It's not saying Tarkov didn't invent leaning, but it invented it as a main method of almost like communication. It's like
they didn't have VoIP for the longest time.
Yes.
Now they got VoIP, it changes it a little bit. But literally, leaning left and right was the only form of way you could really communicate to someone.
Well, it's like, okay, so Steve, you play a lot of Hunt Showdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like your main game. You play that most days. You met a bunch of friends through it. You're heavily invested in Hunt Showdown. Imagine if a video came out tomorrow stating that, on average, 60% of the games that you play have a group of cheaters in them.
That is the thing that, because I watched this video as well, and that is the thing that got me, was like, if Tarkov has this many cheaters that are kind of undetectable unless you're cheating yourself, our games probably have this, especially games like Hunt, which probably don't have the best anti-cheat. And it's just like, this video made me think, like, oh, anytime I get killed in a game now that's even kind of sussy, it brings it into question. Like,
well, yeah, and that's what they mentioned in this video. He interviews someone from Linus Tech Tips. I can't remember his name. He's a really nice guy. Saying, and a really interesting point they bring up is, what amount of cheats are acceptable for you as a person? Because it's very unrealistic to assume that you remove every cheat from the game. Someone will always find a way to cheat. That's just how it is in every single game. But at what point is it too much? And this person replied to that the threshold is as soon as you start suspecting, every kill, like, not just was that a good play or not?
Yeah,
it's like,
I thought that was
that guy's
a really
cheating.
interesting comment. Yeah. Because he's like, it should, when you die in a video game, it should never even like enter your mind.
Exactly.
That guy was foul. That was foul play, and it's like, as soon as as soon as it tips that scale, it doesn't have to be like many. It could be as low as like 15-20% of the time,
Yeah.
you know. But as soon as it like tips, either in the community's mind or your personal mind, you start seeing it like every time. Every time you die, you're like, dude, how did he know I was there? And it's like once you're there, it doesn't matter how many cheaters there actually are. It's like
Yeah.
it's over for
You've
you.
gone past
That's
the
it.
point of no return, and that's
Exactly,
what,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
and that's what he said at the start of this video. He says, a warning to whoever's watching this video: if you play Tarkov, if you really enjoy it, careful watching this video because you might not be able to go back. At which point, my like internal response is like, okay, buddy, fucking it's a YouTube video, get over yourself. But he's completely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I personally, for one, I never want to fucking touch Tarkov ever again.
Yeah, I mean, I do
Yeah.
think Tarkov clearly has a big cheating issue, and the reason it has a big cheating issue is because it's a really big fucking game,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
You aren't running into 60% cheaters in Hunt, because Hunt is just not big enough for people to care enough to cheat that much,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, there's a lot more on the line in Tarkov, and that's why people cheat on it.
Well, it's also like Hunt is tied to Steam accounts, right? Which is another. I think Hunt seems to be less duct taped together for one thing than
Yeah.
Tarkov, which is wild. But here we are. But it's also like it's tied to your Steam account, right? So you're risking actual.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're risking like your actual Steam account when you cheat in Hunt. In Tarkov, it's like it's its own little enclosed ecosystem. So you can just buy 20 quid, buy a copy of Tarkov, cheat your heart out, you get banned. It's like, oh well, I'll just
buy another
drop
one.
20 quid,
Yeah.
buy another account. Yeah.
I've had enough fun out of cheating for that 20 quid that I will just buy another key and carry on. That's how
do
I
it
get,
again.
That's how I
Yeah.
get my fun is by dropping
I-
20 quid a month, cheating for a bit, and then doing it all over again.
It's also like there's real incentives for people to make and distribute cheats because you can there's like because of the way like the economy works in that game, there's actual incentive for people to be like, look, we'll give you a cheat that will just help you get all the best stuff, that will help you do all your quests and stuff and beat the other players. And it's like it's like that slippery slope where once you suspect everyone is cheating, it's like,
Yeah.
well, how I have to cheat to even keep up.
I had something happen today in regards to this that has really pissed me off, and it's to do with RuneScape. In that I went on
someone cheating RuneScape.
There's a shitload of bots and cheating in RuneScape. It's always there. It's like what we say. You want it to be just low enough that you don't think everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
But I googled like what are the best AFK training methods for Magic, and I saw so many replies that were just like auto clickers. Just get an auto clicker, do this, do
Just
that.
like macro it. Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, I really wish I didn't read all that because I went down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
I went down a rabbit hole. I have no intention of cheating, but I went down a rabbit hole of like, how easy is it to just cheat in RuneScape? And it turns out, it's actually pretty fucking easy. So now I'm like,
you know that drawing the line for cheats?
Yeah.
I don't put auto clickers in the same line as cheating. You know what I mean?
Sam's botting in the Grand Exchange confirmed.
I agree with Sam. I agree with Sam because like back in the day, you had those birds that would be like, there's always that meme of the birds going up and down, pressing the key for you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everyone's done
a Simpsons joke.
Yeah,
maybe.
I had years ago. I remember buying like 5,000 green d'hide bodies and then just setting the auto clicker going to high outcome. Like I remember doing that.
Yeah.
But that never once crossed my mind as cheating. So much as...
See, for me, that is cheating.
Yeah, I guess it's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Because, yes, I've technically got something else doing it for me, I guess. But it's not the same as, like, running a script to, like, go and kill mobs, collect items, or withdraw items from a bank and craft something, run to bank, withdraw items from a bank.
I guess it depends, what level. Because RuneScape is all clicking, so I guess if you're getting something to do the clicking, I guess technically that is, but I'm kind of almost with Sam in that, where it's like it's just me clicking one thing. What does it matter if I'm the one doing it? You know, at
Yeah,
that point, I
it's
don't
the
know.
exact
It's,
same
yeah,
spot. I've just left it there to click once every second.
yeah,
Like, yes, I can get carpal tunnel doing it myself, or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess
but
like yeah, but very
I do agree that like if people will see that as cheating, and I do
yeah.
agree. Like, it's not clean
I'm
in
gonna,
any
I'm,
shape
gonna, I'm
or
gonna be
way.
back next week's podcast with 99 magic stat. Don't ask me how I got it.
Yeah. Also, I just want to bring up this 60% number, right?
Yeah.
About cheaters in Tarkov. This is 60% minimum.
Yeah, it's also
Because
quote unquote obvious cheaters as well.
he even actively said like there was so many times where like a scav gave him away or something happened where he couldn't fully be confident that he didn't make noise or he hadn't been like rused by something.
It is, in the interest of fairness, though, it is also only, he said it was 120 runs he did, matches.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge sample size.
It's not, no.
Like 60%, whichever way you cut it, is terrible.
Yeah.
But in the interest of fairness, he did. It's only a sample size of 120.
I think at the very least, the important thing has been achieved, which is to highlight,
which is to get
the
people
problem.
talking about.
Yes,
yeah,
because there has been a reply from the company on their subreddit and stuff like that, and they've come out and said some stuff. I think one of the lines was they're banning 1,000 to 2,000 players a day. At which point everyone has just replied like, "Are you insane? That's obviously not true. Do you have any idea how many like accounts that is?"
yeah.
And apparently, like
1,000 to 2,000 a day.
They'd
have no one left by the end of the year.
exactly.
What the fuck?
Everyone's like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're just pulling numbers out of your ass." And it's there's been similar cookie cutter responses to cheating like 3 and 4 years ago, saying like, "Oh, we know there's cheating and we're working on it," and then they just don't do anything.
But the thing is now, like, anyone who watches this video will not touch Tarkov, I'm assuming.
No,
Like,
I mean, but would you want to after watching this?
Yeah, I was gonna say you're probably not gonna touch Tarkov after this unless they do some drastic like anti-cheat stuff. But also, current players are probably like looking like, well, if other people are cheating and getting away with it, but they might encourage them to do it as well. It's like at the moment, like Tarkov needs to do something.
Yeah, they need
to like be like a very heavy anti-cheating stance. And if not, it's like it will probably be the death of Tarkov.
Well, it's tricky because it's not like a death where it's like, oh, Tarkov's dead, but it's just like it's one of those slow deaths, right? Like, why would you play Tarkov? That game's full of cheaters, and then just it slowly loses players.
It's difficult to say though, isn't it? Because Tarkov players are already masochists. Let's be honest, and we have no idea how well or badly Tarkov has been doing. So it's impossible to tell.
Yeah, the average player finding out that like 60% of the players around them are cheaters, like, fuck yeah, challenge.
I was going to say, the numbers go up. Like, yes, everyone is cheating, but I imagine because of this video and the controversy, I wonder if the player count actually went up as a result of this. Well, it would not surprise me.
The issue that can happen with a video like this is not only do a lot of players leave, obviously because of cheaters. You know, they're like, I'm not playing this, it's full of cheaters. But you also get another subset of people will be like, hang on a minute, is it that easy to cheat in Tarkov? I'm going to have a look. If everyone's cheating anyway, I'm going to cheat.
Plus now there's all the people that are, this video is like the biggest thing. This has gotten outside of like Tarkov, right? People outside of Tarkov are talking, like us, are talking about this. And it's like now, how many other wannabe content creators are going to do this and just like ruin the game for everybody? You know, what if now there's a guy in every raid who's creeping around trying to figure out if you're cheating or not?
Yeah, the top comment of the video was from Pestily, one of the biggest Tarkov streamers or just content creators in general, basically saying this is such a good video and I'm scared that all content creators are going to jump on this as their and just copy the idea.
I will say I think with other games, though, at least there have been content creators who like, I'm gonna download cheats on a brand new account to see what it's like, and then they get permabanned on their main account and their alt account. Like usually games, even if you're doing it for content, if you cheat, they will ban you.
Yeah,
forever.
hardware
Yeah, but
locks,
this is
hardware
Tarkov.
ID. Yeah, I don't know how Tarkov works with their ban. If it's like a heavy, because you can get hardware banned where it's like your PC is just like, this PC ain't playing X game.
Even for content creators, like you can get content creator banned. Like if they see you playing that game, they will ban any account that you're playing
I think
because
that's.
you promoted cheating.
I think that in itself, for me, almost kind of legitimizes this video more for me, right? It's like this guy whose life is obviously Tarkov. You know, it's his job. It revolves around this, and he's basically, you know, thrown that away to expose this thing. Good for him, obviously. But I don't think you do that unless you obviously believed in the message that had to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Anyone that's listening hasn't seen this video, it's called The Wiggle That Killed Tarkov. Highly recommend you give it a look. It's 40 minutes long, but the second half of the video is an interview that you could skip if you just want to see like the meat of the video. You give it a look. It's really, really interesting, especially just seeing all how they wiggle to each other and talk to each other and stuff. It's really good. There are some more stories. It'll take me 2 minutes to race through them very quickly just to give you some headlines. If you lot have got anything to contribute to what I'm saying, just jump in. But otherwise, we'll just race through them. Very quickly, Sons of the Forest is doing insane. It has at this point sold more than 2 million copies in 24 hours. Word of mouth.
You said it was trash.
I've played it. I couldn't run it. I didn't say it was bad. I said my PC literally cannot run it, which is a shame. I wanted to play it. I might go back and play the first one. Just check out The Forest, which I never finished.
It crashed Steam, didn't it? There was no preload, so it was like 500,000 people all hitting the Steam servers up in the same hour trying to get the Sons of the Forest to download.
They knew what they were doing.
It crashed Steam.
Crashes Steam, but the people that can't buy it then will come back and buy it in 20 minutes, and it creates news stories.
I am so shocked. I know we're going late, but I'm so shocked that I thought The Forest was really good. I thought it was a very niche interest survival game. I did not know. I had no idea.
Right? Where did this come from?
Insanely popular as this. Yeah.
I think it was like, obviously in hindsight now, we know it sold this many copies. It was like, I think maybe just under a week before it came out. And the day before, keeps popping up, was the most wishlist game on Steam at the time.
Yeah.
And then before this came out, about a week before it came out, this game overtook it. And I think I just went like, huh, that's really interesting. And then all of a sudden, it just sells a bajillion copies.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard some people say that The Forest is one of their favourite games, so it was like, oh, I'm not surprised it's doing well.
But it's like, 2 million in 24 hours good? Because Tired said he really likes it?
No, there's a few people who really liked it.
I don't know.
But
good for it. Like, you know, it's always good. Because apparently it's a decent game.
I might get it when it starts to run a bit better.
Yeah, you won't be able to play it. I'm sorry, Steve. If I can't play it, you cannot play it.
Especially not on high.
No, I had to unfortunately refund it because I bought it. I chucked it all down to low settings to get it to hover around 40, 50 frames, which were really choppy, and it looked like garbage on low settings. Max settings, because I had a quick look, ran like 20 FPS, looked amazing on high, but I couldn't get it to run in a state I was happy with. So this will be wish listed for me. I'll revisit it in the future. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame for me. But yeah, so that's come out, sold a bajillion copies. You had this is all still happening kind of new, but Final Fantasy 15 previews are all hopping around right now.
Yes.
Tons of new information. It sounds really, really good. Main story about 35 hours, semi-open world, about a dozen hours of cinematics.
And the demo
2 weeks before launch. Also, for people getting excited for a PC release, they've said don't expect it anywhere near launch.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like they said PlayStation exclusive until at least the end of 2023.
Yeah,
so
at least they said.
Yes.
One of the cool quotes we got from, what's the guy's name? Is it Yoshida?
Yeah.
He said the launch date of this game now is completely locked in, and the only thing that would delay it is a meteor falling on Tokyo.
Jesus.
I thought it was pretty funny because it's also like an FF14 joke, kind of. You know how the game got nuked with a massive meteor. Anyway, yeah, completely locked in. Last couple, but really quick. Oh god, that picture's hideous. Beyond Good and Evil 2 still isn't real. Not a real game. Don't at me. Studio head has gone. They can't. Still unable to pin creative vision after 15 years.
I've not read into this, but I've heard that it's in like that the studio's under investigation because they have an unusual high amount of turnover of like employees.
That's because people probably turn up and realize they're not doing anything and then leave. It's like a lot of people in not just like programming and games, but like in creative industries, they're creative people. I imagine you don't want to spend your career sitting around not doing a lot, working for a project that's probably never going to see the light of day.
Yeah, but it's
weird
and disheartening.
It's really weird. What a weird. There'll be so many documentaries and shit about this game in the future.
I want it to either come out or get cancelled so we can see. So there's somebody over at Ubisoft documenting all of this, somewhere, and it's all gonna come out at some point. Oh, can't wait.
There's gonna be a Netflix drama about the development of this game.
Yeah, there is.
And then last little quick one. There's literally nothing else about this really, but Mortal Kombat 12 has been confirmed for a 2023 release.
Okay.
There's no official announcement. It was in a financial call or something. But that means you'll probably see something around E3 time, I imagine, for MK12. Which MK games are a bit scummy with their microtransactions, but they're always a fun time. But yeah, that's it for the news. We've run a little bit long. Did you want to do a really quick wrap up, Steve?
I'll do some releases. I've cut them down a bit. So for March 3rd, we have Wolong Fallen Dynasty.
Ooh.
This is a dark fantasy take on the Three Kingdoms story. It's an action RPG from Team Ninja, who did Nioh.
Yeah, it's Nioh meets Dynasty Warriors.
Yes, and it is on Game Pass as well. So if you are interested in this,
I'm really excited for this.
Out on the 3rd of March. On the 6th of March, we have the Dead Cells Return to Castlevania DLC.
Oh, hell yeah. I need to. I don't know how I would play this because I've never bought Dead Cells. I've always played it on like Game Pass or something. I'm gonna have to. I actually want to. I've been meaning to get into Dead Cells for ages because it's such a fun little game.
Everyone says it's good.
It's really good. You never played it?
No, never.
Dead Cells is great, man.
On the 7th, I'm not sure how big this game is, but we have Pathfinder expansion or DLC called The Last Sarkonians. I saw a lot of people had Pathfinder on my Steam friends list, so I was like, oh, maybe this is something might do. They're adding like a druidy type of class.
Oh, this is a Will and Aaron game.
Yeah, I saw Will had this game.
Never finished it.
And then one final game, not sure if it's gonna be good or not. It's called Paranormasight.
Jesus.
Paranormasight, yeah. The Seven Mysteries of Honjo is a Square Enix horror visual novel adventure game.
Ooh.
It looked weird, but I was like Square Enix, so I was like, okay.
Oh, we got the branching paths as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say horror? Sorry.
It looks horror, but I assume it's horror.
I think that person's dead in that screenshot. They look pretty dead.
Yeah, it says in the description, horror adventure. There we go.
Oh, okay.
And this is on the 8th of March.
Oh, and it's only 12 seconds. This could be a great little Steam Deck game.
This could be a great pickup, or it'll be utter shit.
Yeah.
But
I've been meaning to get something for my Steam Deck's been sitting around for a few weeks. I need to do something with it. I'm going to check out Psychonauts on it, but also I could play this as well.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting thing that you've just shown, Steve, I think. For me. And you say there's like nothing else for March, basically.
There were a couple of other like indie games, but they were kind of like filler for me to.
All right, I'll wrap this up then. I'm glad we got the Tarkov discussion in at the end. I really wanted to talk about that. I think that's really, really interesting. Yeah, good job, guys. Another week done. Sorry, I should be.
We did it.
We did it. What are we on now? This is week like 56 of the podcast. Crazy when you think about how long it's been.
I thought you were joking.
No, this is week 56. We've done 56 episodes of the podcast.
Well, we were there for Elden Ring release, and now it's a year
that's
later.
a good point. Yeah, we were
Yeah, I was just thinking that I still was working at Spoons when we did this.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
nearly a year into my new job. Holy crap!
We're all getting
Oh
old.
my God.
All right, let's wrap this up then. Thank you for listening, everybody. We hope you had a fun time. We'll do our socials like always, and we're going to get out of here. We're going to go Pokemon home and get some Pokemon sleep.
Nice.
Yeah. My name is Josh. You can find me under everything as BottlerWorks. What about you, Will?
Hello, you know where to find me.
And Steve.
Hi, I'm Quikwix everywhere. That's QIKWIX.
And Sam.
Hey, I'm Sam.
Yeah, he still does that. Thank you for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.